Hey everyone, if you're here, you either know what this game is, just got this game, or are looking into getting this game. This is Devil Spire Falls. And every time I say it, I don't know why, but I space all of those out like it's not the name of the entire game. So Devil Spire Falls. Anyway, let's jump into it. Here we have my character, Hinrot. He's a basic guy, tins across the board, he's a human, he's really small. Anyway, we're gonna get started with, once you're in this game, it throws you in and doesn't really tell you anything besides a quest that's in the upper left called The Urge, where you are to conquer a Devil Spire. And that's the name of the game, so you think it's just time to go to it. Well, the Devil Spire is that right there. As you can see, it stands out, kind of pushing your urge to go that way and start, adventuring. However, if you're like me and like taking your time with things and exploring a world that you're given and, role play your way through it, then I've got some tips for you. And the intro is already too long. Let's go ahead and jump in. First things first, let's identify some plants that you're going to see very early on. One, this little red herb. You're going to pick it up, and you might get it, you might not. as you can see, I didn't. That is a red herb. It's simple as that. It's a red herb. It heals you for 12.5 HP and can be ground up to then heal you for 25 HP, and then the ground up version can be mixed into potions which heal you for more based on tier. Next we have these red strands with white on them. This is cotton, which is good for making gear. Then you have grass, which is the green or dark colored stuff, which is good for making gear, specifically clothing and building a few things as well. Cotton's the same. It's good for building a few things. Or not, sorry, but not building a few things. It's good for clothing. So grabbing cotton and grass early game, super useful, especially if you don't want to dive straight into one of the dungeons early on. Next we have wheat, which is the yellow. It looks like wheat. If you don't know what this is, I don't know where you've been, because it looks like wheat. So you pick it up and get some wheat. Wheat can heal you if eaten for 12.5. It can also be refined into a flour and then a dough to make some bread, which again heals you for a bit more. Next, you have these trees that are all around. Hit and gather on them. We'll give you some branches, leaves, apples, and seeds. You don't always get everything. You get some of those things. Sometimes you don't get apples. Sometimes you don't get anything else. Apples are great because they heal you and they also weigh less than wheat. So 5 apples weighs 0.5 kilograms, and they heal you for 25 health over a minute, and wheat heals you for that 12.5, and 2 wheat is roughly 0.5 kilograms of weight. The next thing you'll find on the ground are these. They're bone piles. Sometimes you search them and find nothing. Other times you find bones. Bones are very useful because they can be used as an early tool for either combat or breaking trees and rocks. But these guys also do just fine in breaking trees and rocks. Again, let's say you want to dive into this game, but you don't want to jump into a dungeon just yet, and you want to gather up some gear if you started deprived, just to make sure. Maybe you're doing a hardcore run and you don't want to die, you don't even want to risk it. Go ahead and pull out your fist, find yourself a rock, and get swinging. You're going to do this probably, I think, 6 times in total before the rock breaks. That's 5. Oh, 6. We're going to go one more. 7. And out of here we got some coal, rock salt, and stone. Now you'll just roam around, find all these little rocks, and keep doing so. You mainly want the stone. The rock salt can be used to make salt, and coal is used to fuel furnaces, which we don't necessarily need a furnace just yet. Stone can be used to make a furnace. It can be used to make gear, like weapons, and armor. And I think some armor for horses. So we're gathering a couple stones because we're also going to then gather some bones and find the nearest village. If you didn't know what the green dot on the map was, that is a village. If you look around, you can see there's smoke pillar, which indicates a village or a nomad camp. You can also find roads within the newest update that will lead you to villages. which is a wonderful addition, if I might add. So far, you've learned what resources are around in the early stages of the game, and kind of how to navigate, mainly looking for roads or just looking at your map and moving towards a dot. Red dots are dungeons, green dots are villages. Once you're at a village, you'll find either one to a few houses. You'll also find some villagers and a bonfire. Let's start with the bonfire. You can go up to it, and it gives you a list of crafting items. You can make clean water from dirty water here. You can make tea with leaves and clean water. You can make roasted tough meat with horse meat. I don't know if you can get meat any other way besides roasted fish from fishing. You can make bread from dough, which you need water, clean water, and wheat flour to do so. You can also make copper ingots, and you can also make coal from logs. Fire is super useful. It gives some light at night, and also as a pillar to let you know where a village or nomad camp is. You'll also find villagers. You can talk to them, you can trade them. They'll have coins, apples, cider, and a few other little things. You can also chat with them. Let's say you want to get your disposition up with them. There's a whole chat system. Think Oblivion, but more complicated. To run you through it real quick, the times numbers are what you want to get to. So let's say we want to get to the times 2. We start with joy. We can then hit nature or adventure, but we start here. So let's say we want to get to trust. So we would talk politics. All right, now we're at trust, and now we can get to joy. We can talk politics again. And then anticipation, we can talk magic. And then with magic, we can lead back to trust. But we don't have any more ability to do politics again. We can go any other which way, so nature or crime. I don't want to do surprise because that just leads me to 2 bad things. So we'll stay, and now I have 7 disposition with them, which save me some money. I could also just come up, and until they patch it, it's easier just to give them a bunch of seeds and random stuff that you don't need or want, and get higher disposition. You can then ask for a quest. So ask you to either kill someone or some other things. Refusing a quest to get a different quest lowers your disposition. Accepting the quest, you just have to do it. So this one says kill Roddy of Field Mound or Hugo. Or Hugo. Yeah, Hugo of Chardon. Words. So let's say I accept the quest. Now I have to kill this person. I don't know where it is. So let's see if I can ask. Where can I find? Where is this person here? And I can ask, but I lose some disposition, so it's good to give them some things first. I don't think he's around here. Wonderful. So they're useless. I need to kill someone, but they don't care. So you can just ask around until someone can point it out, open your map, and you'll find it there. But now that we've done that, one of the big things about villages that's so great is the buildings that come within them. Let's open it up, and this one we have a blacksmith. Very, very useful. Gives us an early furnace that we can work with. And as you noticed when I do crafting, I can up at the upper right, there's a craftable. Hit that, and it shows you anything you can currently make. Anvils are used to repair items. Grindstones are used to upgrade items, which you can only upgrade certain things. And we have another villager in here. They also have some beds. So, we don't need anything from there. We're going to move on. Now, we've been playing a good minute here. You don't want to lose any progress due to a crash. Highly recommend throwing a manual save in every once in a while. Crashes are definitely bound to happen. It's an early access game, and it's got a lot going on. Throw in a manual save just to make sure, after you make some progress or you've completed a dungeon, stuff like that. You can also exit to title, or when you exit the game, it also makes a save. We're going to go into this other building to see if we got a different one. Nope, it's another blacksmith. There are a few buildings that I know of. One of them is the blacksmith. The other is just a basic crafting house with a table in the middle. And the other is an enchantment, potion making, and spell making building. So we're hoping for a table just like this right here. Just one table in the middle of a room. Go up to it. And this is where you're going to start crafting a lot of your stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just start crafting some of my things. As you can see, because one, we're going to need the powder, and we also need some levels in crafting. On the right hand side here, we can see we have a list of everything, and you'll start kind of recognizing the items by their picture. So this is a helmet, this is a chest piece. We have earrings, a bracelet, necklace, little pants, and some weapons up here. What I recommend is, if you can, early on, make a blunt weapon with your stones and bones. If you can't end up doing it, that's perfectly okay. Now, the big tip I have for you here with crafting gear, aside from crafting with stone and bone to start, highly recommend saving your cotton and grass to make linen, because those first couple levels are going to be super easy to obtain, and it's almost a waste of time crafting burlap or then cloth to make the cotton or burlap armor. Walk around, grab yourself some grass, grab yourself some cotton. Okay, let's see how much we got here just to see. We have 19 cotton, 19 grass. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and make our way back to the crafting house just to kind of show you what I'm talking about, because a level 3 gear is linen. Go up to this table, mark craftable, and then go down here to the linen. So you click on it to pull up the crafting recipe, and you can right click to automatically throw in the bottom here the ingredients to craft. So go ahead and craft a bunch here, and now we do have the ability, or the materials, to craft some of those. So let's go ahead and try to craft. See, it's level 2. If I just take some time and go find some more materials, so grass and cotton, I'll be able to hit level 2, and then I can make myself tier 3 light armor. Super useful. It's super awesome. So what we're going to do real quick here is go ahead and punch a couple more rocks. We're not going to make any armor, not necessarily needing to do that just now, because the next part of this is going into a dungeon. But I would like to go in with a weapon. You don't have to. You can put this, perfectly fine. But I would like to show you some weapon crafting. So, just a moment here. It's taking its time. Awesome. Go ahead and head back with our materials. Here we are. So, when crafting items, one thing to kind of keep in mind, let's go for the spear, because I think I can only make one of each. Okay, we'll go for not what I was hoping for. You can make a modern stone axe, which gives you the ability to chop wood. I'm not going to do that just because I don't feel like it right now. But you do that, you can chop trees down a bit easier. Same thing, you make a blunt weapon of any sort, something with some decent damage and smashing. You'll get through rocks pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and make an old sword. An old stone sword. It's got some decent durability. That's all we need. We're going to go ahead and make our way to a dungeon now. Now, like I said earlier, on the map, dungeons are marked with red dots. You can also open your map and see dungeons are over here, a village is over here, and some stuff right here. So we're going to head our way this way. See all the other villagers who kind of roam around and do their own little thing. Early on, from spawn, and the further away from spawn you get, the difficulty goes up. Level 1 to 3 dungeons are usually pretty much in one vicinity. I think about 1,000 or 1 km, 1,000 meters. Roughly. And the further out you go, the higher the levels get. New biomes start popping up, new materials. But we're going to focus in the early stages. So at this point, you've probably crafted yourself some gear. You have some powders. You have some food. That's probably about right where you're at. So one thing before we go in, I want to shortcut my powder onto 2. And I'm also going to shortcut my apples onto 1. Now, there's no reason to put them on either one of those. It's just where I'm used to. The powder is a good way to quickly heal, while the food is a good way to heal over time. And powder is made from picking up red herbs and grinding them. So if you haven't found a village yet, you can just go ahead and eat the red herbs. And if you have, grind them at a table, make the powder. It's well worth it. It doubles the amount of health you get. Here you are, right in front of your first dungeon now. We're just going to go in. We have our sword. That's all we need. Once inside, you'll load in, and it'll be a different layout for every dungeon. It's all procedurally generated. If you look around on the outside, the dungeon will be roughly laid out how you can see it on the outside. So we'll go up. We've got a few paths here. We'll go up to the left. I saw a person talking on that side. And we have a chest. Ooh, copper ingots is huge, because we'll probably be able to make some tools here soon. One of the things you'll do while you're in here normally, I didn't make the weapon because I didn't have enough stuff gathered, and I'm just going to show it off. Take your blunt weapon and start smashing any chest you see, either after obtaining it or failing to open the lock. Same with doors. Don't ask me why. I don't understand it either. But at level 1 building, you can't build anything. You have to break some stuff to learn how to build some stuff. So go ahead and open it up right here. Oh, we've got a guy with an enchanted bow. And we got hit. Pulling back our blade by holding does more damage, takes more stamina. We can also do a quick little attack. Doesn't take as much stamina, doesn't do as much damage. I recommend the hold attack. As you can see, he was casting a spell. It also interrupts spell casting. Wait for him to drop his guard. Oh, we missed. Same thing. Wait for him to drop his guard. Now he's a level 7 bandit. All that truly means is his gear is better. So, he had a bow. We'll take that. You can also take the other things from here if you'd like. If you haven't made any armor and didn't feel like crafting, and you're here because of that, here you go. You're able to grab some gear right off the bat. However, it could break at any time because, again, it is bandit gear. Its durability is not the best. For instance, this bow. Half durability right now. We're going to make our way into the next door and find ourselves a chest with a sturdy burlap saddle. I'm not going to get it. Don't need it. But what we're going to do now is leave. That was it. That's your first dungeon. Now, chances are you might find a larger dungeon or you might find a single room dungeon. Good news, though. There are dungeons all across the land. They're everywhere. One of the biggest parts of this game is dungeon diving. You know, you don't have to craft anything to start. You could jump straight into a dungeon. And honestly, if it's a level 1 dungeon, you're going to have a pretty okay time with just your fist or a bone. Start picking up loot, use it, equip it, move forward. I've played the first bit of this game without doing any crafting and just went in dungeon diving. But I felt like crafting was going to be really fun, which it is. I think it's a very rewarding crafting system. Highly recommend it. We're going to go into our second dungeon. Now, it'll be a little bit easier. And again, we're just going in. You don't have to grab a torch every single time. I recommend having at least one on you so that you can see when it does get too dark. And we're just kind of peering in. We've got 2 rooms, both with 2 bandits in it. Let's get that Spire orbit out of here. As you can see, I did a cleave attack. Anyone who's casting a spell, you really want to get rid of them. Those spells can be really damaging, especially something Fire orbit. Not a fan. And I don't know what this person is doing, so we're gonna hold back and wait for them to do that, and then get them. There we go. We've killed them. And we can loot them. Easy peasy. Sometimes they'll have some good stuff on them, sometimes not. But these chests are what you're looking for. We just got Ice Ray. grimoire, which is a spell tome, which we can then learn a spell. Not scripted. Oh, even better. Rubies, which are used for enchanting. And crates, which if you pick up just right, they just explode with goodies. Sometimes you gotta throw them a couple times. So, anytime you see a crate, grab it, throw it, grab it, throw it, and it'll drop stuff. And that's it. That's basically the dungeons. Just go explore, kill some stuff. Want to make sure you're not letting them overpower you with any spells. The spells can be dangerous. This game also does have parrying, so if you wait till just before the attack, you'll parry, and it won't take as much of your stamina. Now, if I were to hold the block, it takes a lot more stamina. You're rewarded for parrying. Now, Ice Orbit, we want to stop that by killing him, I guess. Real quick, before we go into the next little fight, we're going to go into our inventory where we've learned Ice Ray. Or we have the Grimoire for Ice Ray. And this does 4.4 freeze damage on hit, or 4.4 second freeze. I think it's 1 second of freeze with some damage to it. We'll use it. Go to our magic. Level 1 Ice Ray is equipped. As you notice, we have a memory of 1 or 2 total. We can carry 2 level 1 spells with it. Easy enough. Now this guy has a gun. He's got a gun. But if you hit Q and start casting your spell, you'll notice your screen will get a little wiggly. And you gotta aim with it. And it's not easy. But there are things to make it easier. Like getting closer. He just shot me. So, we'll take our sword out and just, we'll finish this guy off. There we go. Easy enough. There we go. More gear. More fun stuff. A simple, easy, quick dungeon. Like I said, the early dungeons can be very simple and quick and easy. Got some scrolls if we wanted to make some spells, but that's a lot more advanced. So I'd like to congratulate everyone on getting this far in the video, and hopefully you've learned something from all of this. If not, let me know. Let me know what you want to learn, and I can add that into the next thing. But I think that gives you all the tips you need for the early game, and without spoiling too much of what the game has to offer. Gets you started, gets you moving, gets you doing the fun stuff. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. You know what? There was one more thing I wanted to do, but I gotta get to a village to do it. So we're not ending it just yet, because let's say you're having a hard time finding tools in dungeons like I have, except for the first time I played the game, where I found every tool I could ever need in a dungeon. I don't know if he did a hotfix and changed it or what, but I can now never find any tools in any dungeon ever at all. Not even a bit. Once you get some copper ingots, grab yourself some branches, and you're gonna make your way over to a smithy. If you don't have a village close by with a smithy and you want to make the tools now, you don't want to wait, gather up 16 stone, you can place down a smithy, or furnace I should say. Easy enough. Another thing, as of this current moment, there's a bug in the game that when placing stuff outdoors, it'll actually get attached to the character and then follows you around and disappears when you relog. Highly recommend placing stuff indoors. I've seen people also place houses and the house follows them around. So hopefully a hotfix is soon. It just was a bug from a patch yesterday. Hopefully a new one comes out and fixes that. I think this was the building with this. So just kind of for reference of tools versus hands or things like that. Again, we'll mark ourselves here. Now the tools, as you can see, they have one bar and one branch. Any metal ingot, if you hover over it, it tells you exactly what you need. So we'll go ahead and make one pickaxe. Just kidding, we can't. We don't have the smithing for it. Joke's on me, huh? Alright. Well. There you go. You make those. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Pro tip when wanting to get smithing level up. Highly recommend getting a bunch of ore, smelting that ore. If you have any other questions, if you have any other needs, anything like that, please let me know. Thank you guys and have a wonderful day and enjoy your journey and adventure in Devil Spire Falls.